because I want to take you on a journey with Jesus. But I don't want to just give you any journey. I want to come to you this morning with the message of you better get up. You better get up. Hashtag Jesus versus Jonah. Hashtag the power in the get up. Hashtag you better. Look at somebody and say, you better.
You better. You better. You better.
It's time to get up. And I got two people that showed us what resurrection looks like. I want to introduce you to my King. Come on, Jesus. Who's at my right hand. And then I also want to introduce you to Jonah, who's at my left. This is a tale of two men, both walking in power, both walking in a call, and both with a decision as to whether they're going to get up or not. So it's Jonah versus Jesus this morning. They both had a situation with men. Jonah was called to deliver a nation of men over in Nineveh. Jesus was called to deliver a world of men. A whole world. Y'all say whole world.
Whole world.
So Jonah got a small piece of the world, but Jesus got the whole world. Both of them have to make a decision to get up. Say, you better.
You better.
Jesus, you better. Jonah, you better. Jonah represents the typical man. God told him what to do. Jonah ran. Jonah chapter 1. I got a lot of scriptures today because I need to take you on a journey so that you understand the two men and how Jonah had to come first, because Jonah is actually a shadow of what was to come. Jonah had to come first because he was a shadow, a type of Jesus that the world needed to experience. But before Jonah could get up, he had to first shut up. Shut up, Jonah, and do what God is telling you to do. So Jonah is the fleeing man. Jesus is the doing man. We go to Jonah chapter 1. I'm reading the NIV first. It says, the word of the Lord came to Jonah, son of Amittai. Go to the great city of Nineveh and preach against it, because his wickedness has come up before me. But Jonah ran away from the Lord and headed for Tarshish. He went down to Joppa, where he found a ship bound for that port. After paying the fare, somebody say he had to pay for that. That's a Selah moment. He ran from God and he had to pay a fare. He went aboard and sailed for Tarshish to flee from the Lord. Jonah runs from the will of God. Here's the thing about that. When we run from God's will, it also puts God on the run too. Because guess what God does? He runs with us. We run so much that it makes God tired. It makes God frustrated. It makes God angry. But yet he's still there. Let's park right here. I got 3 chairs up here. And they're going to symbolize 3 different runs. Jonah is running. Jonah, go ahead on and run to the first chair. I'm going to call the first chair. Have a seat, Jonah. I'm going to call the first chair pride. Because in order for Jonah to make a decision to run, he had to get caught up in him and not God. And that's always pride. So Jonah called himself running from God. So guess what God did? He ran with him. And he whispered in Jonah's ear, why are you over here? Jonah, why are you caught up in yourself? Why are you caught up in your own attitude and your own self-righteous ways? Why are you caught up in your world and not the world that God is trying to give you? Jonah, why are you running? Jonah, why can't you just acknowledge the fact that God is trying to tell you that you're wrong? Jonah, why you can't acknowledge the fact that your old ways can't come into this new season? Jonah, why are you running when God told you what to do? But see, here's the thing about another level. It never feels good, but it's for your good. So Jonah, why you running? Because I promise in this first chair and where you're supposed to be, you're going to feel worse over there than when you were supposed to be in the things of God. Jonah, it's harder over there than it is for you right here. So Jonah, why are you running? So Jesus, he'll tap you on the shoulder. He'll whisper in your ear. He'll beckon somebody, come here and give him a word. Come here and tell him something. But Jonah's so caught up in himself that he can't even hear God. Jonah, you better get up. Everybody look at Jonah and say, you better. You better. So instead of turning around, Jonah runs to the second chair. Because he heard God the first time. How many of you know we hear God the first time? But we need one more confirmation. We need some stuff to happen. How many of you ever been in a position where, I feel like God, but we just need one more confirmation. We just need something else to happen. We just need this or we just need that. So Jonah got tired of Jesus whispering in his ear over here. So he decides to run over there. I call that the second chair. The second chair represents relationships. I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to say what I want. I'm going to be who I want. If I don't feel like being the man, I ain't going to be the man. If I don't feel like leading, I ain't going to lead. I don't feel like going to church and being a man of God, I ain't going to be it. If I don't feel like it. See, Jonah's in his feelings because he don't want to get caught up. He thought that if he moved from over there to right here, Jesus wasn't going to go with him. But what happens? Jesus going on over there. See, wherever you go, whatever decisions you make, you can't run from God. You won't ever be able to run from God. You won't ever be able to stop hearing God try to redirect your path. He will always connect you with somebody that's going to tell you to get your life. He will always connect you with somebody that's got your next level in their hands. He will always connect you. He will always challenge you. He will always make you question. Now, did you really have to say it like that? Did you really have to do that? Do you really always have to get caught up in you and not be concerned about everybody else? Can you really not be the man, Jonah? So he thought he ran away from Jesus, but he found Jesus was still right there. The third chair. He got tired of Jesus right there. He goes to the third chair. Third chair represents his own desires, lusts. Money, I gotta go get this paper. I don't have time to go to church. I don't have time to pray. Lust of the flesh, lust of the eye, the pride of life. Lust of the flesh, lust of the eye, the pride of life. So he goes to the third chair. Now this chair gets him in a world of trouble. You want to know how bad this chair is? This chair right here puts him in a position. He is now in a position where he is in the lowest place of his life. Have you ever gotten to a place where you just low? You just low. You frustrated, you depressed, you tired, being lonely, you tired of just being broke, you tired, the kids nagging, you tired, the wife nagging, the husband nagging. Has anybody ever been in this chair? Jonah found himself not just facing all of that, but this is the part of the Bible where I really want you to come to. This is where Jonah faced death in the face. But Jesus is right there. He running too. Did y'all know that Jonah actually died running from Jesus? Let me say that again. Did y'all know that Jonah actually died trying to run from God? See, this is a place not necessarily of physical death, but this is a place of spiritual death where there is no connection between you and God. You've been running so much you can't even hear God. You don't want to be around God. You would rather die than be in the presence of God. You would rather live the life that you want to live rather than be in the will of God. This is the place of death that Jonah found himself in. Jonah was dead how many days? 3 days and 3 nights. Jesus was dead how many days? 3 days, 3 nights. Jonah had to come before Jesus. So Jonah can't stay in that dead place because he is a type of Jesus. He is a man of God. He is a man of faith. And even though Jonah is having a moment right now, the moment can't have Jonah. So Jonah, you better get up. You better get up. Because you had to prepare the way for Jesus. We run so much that we don't know that we're preparing something for somebody else. But we don't think about it when we run. We just know that we want to do what we want to do. But after the 3rd day, Jonah, you better get yourself up. God never took away the call. You just tried to run from it. Jonah found himself in the valley of hell, trying to run from God. Y'all want to see? Go to Jonah chapter 2, verse 2. This is Jonah talking to God now. He said, in my distress, I called to the Lord and he answered me. From deep in the realm of what? Of the dead. I called for help and you listened to my cry. I got to take you on a journey. See, y'all got to hear what happened to Jonah. Watch this in Jonah chapter 2. I'm going to read this from the ESV version. He said, I called from the realm of the dead. In the ESV version, which is the English Standard Version, it said, then Jonah prayed to the Lord, his God, from the belly of the fish, saying, I called out to the Lord out of my distress, and he answered me out of the belly of Sheol. What's Sheol? Anybody know what Sheol is? Death, hell. It's hell. Jonah went to hell, literally, trying to run from God. I cried to him out of the belly of Sheol. I cried. He said, and you heard my voice, for you cast me into the deep, into the heart of the seas, and the flood surrounded me. Meaning when he got in the whale, he was engulfed with water and he drowned. The flood surrounded me. All your waves and all your billows passed over me. Then I said, I am driven away from your sight. Yet I shall again look upon your holy temples. The waters closed in over me to take my life. The deep surrounded me. Weeds were wrapped around my head. At the roots of the mountain, I went down to the land whose bars closed up upon me forever. I mean, I'm dead. Y'all see that? Jonah was dead. Yet you brought up my life from the pit. What pit he talking about? He's talking about the pit of hell. Oh Lord, my God, when my life was fading away, I remembered the Lord. And my prayer came to you unto your holy temple. Those who pay regard to vain idols forsake their hope of steadfast love. But I, with the voice of thanksgiving, will sacrifice to you. What I have vowed, I will pay. Jonah figured out that he better get up. Salvation belongs to the Lord. And then what happens? The Lord spoke to the fish, and it vomited Jonah out upon the dry land. Jonah ran his way straight to hell. Jonah had to conquer death, hell, and the grave so that he could fulfill the call and the mandate on his life. Jonah, you better. See, Jesus is running with him, telling him, you better get up, you better get up. You're a shadow of me. We got to conquer death, hell, and the grave together. We got to conquer, you got to conquer, we got to conquer. Jonah had to get up because Jesus had to get up. And Jonah had to get up because Jesus was going to be preaching about that man years later. We see it in Matthew 12 and 40. It says, for just as Jonah was 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the great fish, so will the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. Jesus had to conquer hell too, just like Jonah had to conquer hell. Jonah represents the running man. Jesus represents the obedient man. Because Jesus came to save the world. But here's the thing. How many times will God have to tell you to do something before you do it? Look at yourself and say, you better. Come on, say, you better. We're talking to ourselves today. Say, you better. How many times will Jesus have to tell you something? God have to tell you something before you actually do it. In the Bible, God had to tell Jonah twice. Jonah 3, it says, now, in chapter 3, verse 1, it says, then the word of the Lord came to Jonah what? A second time. My God. He said, I'm going to say it again because I don't think you heard me the first time. You had to go to hell to figure out that I said what I said. And I meant what I said. He said, go to the great city of Nineveh and proclaim to it the message I give you. Jonah this time obeyed the word of the Lord and went to Nineveh. Now Nineveh was a very large city. It took him 3 days to go to it. It's something when you've gone what feels like hell and back that you realize running from God ain't even worth it. Because let me tell you something, when you really go to hell, people always say, I've been to hell and back. But when you really go to hell, where there is weeping and gnashing of teeth, you'll realize that earth was like heaven for real. Because there's nothing that you can go through on heaven that can compare to hell. But Jonah literally went through hell and back. You got to understand that you need to get up because it's costing you too much if you sit down. If God gave you another chance, would you get it right? This time Jonah caught up because he recognized the power in the come up. But let me tell you something. Just like Jonah had a moment, get over here. Jesus had to have a come to Jesus moment. Jesus shows us that even though we have things to do, it's hard for our flesh to surrender. Jesus had a moment because he felt heavy in his spirit. Next level didn't feel as good as Jesus thought it would. So Jesus has a seat at the cross. And he goes to the Father in Matthew 26. It says, going a little further, he fell. Sit down, Jesus. He fell with his face to the ground and prayed. He said, my Father, if it is possible, may this cup be taken from me. Yet not as I will, your will. It took Jonah to go to hell. It took Jesus a second to realize that's not my Father's will. Jesus, you better get up. The scripture says, then he returned to his disciples because he realized that he was out of the will of the Father. and he withdrew. Jonah exemplified how hard it was in the flesh. Jesus had to tap into what Jonah experienced. He had to feel the heaviness. He had to feel the struggle that you face when you're going through family issues, when you're going through issues with your money, when you're going through issues. Jesus had to feel it. And he had to show you that all it takes is a little prayer to give you a little power to get yourself up. All it takes is you getting at the feet of Jesus. Instead of Jonah getting at the feet, Jonah ran. Jesus had the moment, the same moment, just like Jonah. But instead of running, he went into prayer and said, God, help me. Because he recognized that he couldn't do what Jonah did. But he experienced what Jonah experienced. His response was different. How will you respond to the call? As I close this out, Jesus had to get up because a world was waiting on him. Jonah had to get up because a nation was waiting on him. Who's waiting on you? Who's waiting on you? I gotta pinpoint this out because let me show y'all something about Jonah. Jonah had been to hell, literally. God resurrected him after 3 days. He said, okay, Jesus said, he said it the second time. He said, okay, I got it. I'm gonna do it. He goes to do it. And he sees that God, I preached to him, deliverance came, and now you blessed him. Jonah then went to hell and back, but his attitude did not change. Jonah went to God and said, he said, you know what? He said, see, that's why I ran right there. That's why I ran, because I didn't want to preach to them. He said, I didn't want to preach to them because I knew you was a gracious God and you would forgive them and you would allow them to be blessed and not cursed. They deserve to be cursed. Has anybody looked at anybody that done you wrong and you want God to get them? The reason Jonah ran, because he felt like the people was wrong and he wanted God to rain down fire and burn them up. Look at it, Jonah 4. But to Jonah, this seemed wrong when God blessed him. And he became angry. He said, Lord, isn't this what I said, Lord, that when I was still at home, that this is what I tried to forestall by fleeing to Tarshish? I knew that you are a gracious and compassionate God, slow to anger, abounding in love, a God who relents from sin and calamity. Now, Lord, take away my life. Jonah wanted to go back to hell because he was so mad at people for getting blessed, getting the blessing that he felt like he deserved. You'd have been to hell and back and you still ain't changed your mind. You still ain't delivered from folk. You still let people play mind games with you because they look like they get blessed. Jesus had to show Jonah how to do it. Luke 23, 33, and I'm finna close this out. When they came to the place called the Skull, they crucified him there, along with the criminals, one on his right and one on his left. Jesus said, now watch what Jesus said about the people. Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. And they divided up his clothes and cast lots. So let's bring this home. You better give up. Get up. Leave yourself no other options, because your get up is necessary. Look at your neighbor and say, you better. You better get up. Why do you have to get up? I'm going to give you 4 quick reasons and I'm gone. The first reason, you're called to help somebody else when you get up. Jonah was called to a nation. Jesus was called to the world. Who are you called to? You better. Somebody is waiting on your get up. It may not be a nation, it may not be a world, but it's somebody. Leave yourself no other options. Get up. Number 2, there's a blessing in the get up. Come on, come on. There's a blessing. See, there's a setup in the running away, but there's a blessing when you get up. There's a blessing when you get up. So you decide your way or Yahweh. Hashtag you better. Your way or Yahweh. A blessing in the get up, but a setup if you sit down. Number 3, the price that comes when you don't get up isn't worth it. You better. Jonah went to hell. He figured out in the pit, that wasn't worth me running. Number 4, so many people win when you get up. Oh, I'm going to say that again. Your family going to win when you get up. Your finances going to win when you get up. I'm telling you, your community going to win when you get up. You better get up. See, Nineveh won when Jonah got up, even though he was mad that they won. Nineveh won when Jonah got up, and the world won when Jesus got up. I'm saved, delivered, and set free, all because Jesus decided to get up. Oh my God. Who's going to win when you get up? Hashtag you better. And the last thing, blessing and helping people should be a priority. My God, today. Even when you've done wrong, when you've been done wrong, pray for them folks. The best happens when you can bless people regardless of how they lied on you, how they cheated on you, how they misused you, how they abused you. The best happens when you can begin to pray for them jokers instead of rain down curses on them, because Jonah was ready to go back to hell because he couldn't stand to see other folk blessed. Look at somebody and say, you better. You better. Listen, it's imperative that we get ourselves up. We're looking at 2 men who were resurrected. 2 men who were resurrected, all because God needed them to do something powerful. Do you not think that God is trying to resurrect you from mess, from sin, from frustration? God is trying to resurrect you from you. Your faith with everything that you were supposed to do in the next year.